I want to welcome this piece of legislation. It's been long overdue. It's a very lengthy bill. I think it's over nearly 95 pages. I tried to read it, but obviously it's limited to what I can take in. But I think it's very welcome in relation to regulating, I suppose, an industry that has largely been out of control, I would say. And gambling is a big business, and big business is gambling. It's worth an enormous amount of money, not only in Ireland, but across the world, and it's hugely profitable. And the problem that most people will have with gambling is that the insidious nature of it. You can't watch any sport, particularly football at the moment, without seeing advertising in relation to gambling. It's everywhere. And obviously the ads, the advertisements that come with it are very pervasive and very glamorous, that, in order to enjoy a sporting activity, you have to have a bet on it. And that's very, very kind of insidious in relation to, how people actually try to enjoy a sporting event, and they should be enjoyed. But, online betting companies, gambling companies have made it into a kind of a sport that's, if you don't have a stake in it, then you can't enjoy it. And I think that's the kind of, I suppose, the nature of online gambling. And obviously some people will have problematic use, Minister, with it, gambling, and particularly online gambling, because everybody has a mobile phone. And it's so easy to make a bet. You don't have to go to, what was traditional, a booking, like a betting shop. You don't have to do that anymore. You can literally never go there again, and you can, bet a lot of money on a phone via apps. And these have become very prolific, to say the least. They're everywhere, and you can bet on absolutely everything. And most people lose. Most people don't win. And the real winners are kind of gambling companies. So as I said, it's hugely profitable. The bill itself, obviously, there are certain weaknesses to it. I think around advertisement. I think the advertisement should be a blanket ban on gambling companies in relation to when they advertise their industry. I just have a huge problem in relation to how gambling is perceived, how it's portrayed, and how it's conducted. There's nothing natural about gambling. I mean, people do gamble; they don't have a problem with it, but it has been hugely problematic use in relation to those that could have a tendency towards problematic use. And obviously, there's a socio-economical factor in this as well. You will find that people that will have kind of problematic use, they come from a socio-economical background, a poorer background, and that's where you would have problems with losing one's wages literally in seconds. So there's that kind of associated as well. As I said, Minister, I think it's welcome that finally there is something to put a stop to the kind of the circus that is at the moment around gambling. I mean, everybody will agree that there is huge issues in relation to its proliferation and in relation to its kind of the way it's perceived. And I think that's the issue that we have to kind of I suppose take in. I mean, gambling companies have hijacked, I would say, a lot of sports. They put a huge amount of money into sports. You look at football clubs in England. I mean, I think in the second division in England, half of the clubs have advertising in relation to online gambling. I mean, and then, it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere, everywhere you go. And as I said, it has to be reined in, and there has to be regulation, and there has to be an issue around how it's advertised, how it's perceived, and so forth. So I do welcome the bill, Minister. As I said, there are certain weaknesses around, around advertisement. I think the National Lottery, I think, is another issue that needs to be addressed. The National Lottery it's gambling as such, and I think over time, and particularly the last 5 years, it has used a lot of advertising in relation to not what it was meant to be set up as. I think if you look at carefully how National Lottery kind of advertised itself, it's become more kind of more of a gambling entity rather than more what it was set up to be. You know, there was a weekly draw, and people thought, perceived that, you know, money went into the National Lottery and it went into good causes. But largely, I don't think that's the case anymore. A lot of money that's kind of surplus in the National Lottery is put into advertisement to kind of sell more products and sell more gambling. So it's all persuasive, and I think there needs to be, as I said, needs to be regulated, and hopefully this bill, even though there's limits to it, can put a stop to this kind of, I think, this insidious kind of behaviour that goes on in our society. Thanks.